once a fruit-eating peaceful tree ape, but the temperature drop made them get down on the land and travel. As the rainfall reduced, the dense forest turned into savannas. Now, the ape, who now walked on two legs, started eating anything it found on the ground. It threw stones at the predators. Soon, this ape started hunting and spreading across Africa. Learning to use the stone tools, technology began. A group of Homo habilis migrated outside Africa. Two other hominin species lived in Eurasia, the Neanderthals and the Denisovans. But now, the Homo sapiens wanted to travel the world and explore. So with this, let's begin our video. As I said in part 1, that the Homo erectus migrated outside of Africa 1.75 million years ago. That was the first out of Africa migration. From 1.75 million years ago in history, let's come forward a million years. Around 75,000 years ago, the earth faced the coldest and most dry phase of the Ice Age. Scientists believe that groups of Homo sapiens from South Africa moved to East Africa. Now, what caused the migration is not known, but it is estimated that our ancestors followed the migrating herds of animals. Other reasons are climate change and rainfall. After reaching the east side of the continent, they mingled with the tribes there. As the population began to grow, many tribes decided to leave and explore, so they began to move north. The first humans moved out from a place at the horn of the African continent, Djibouti, which is now a country. From here, they entered the Arabian Peninsula. Now you would think of this place as a dry desert with no water, but that was not the case a million years ago. The coastline of the Arabian Peninsula was a green land. Waves of Homo sapien hunter tribes kept coming out of Africa. But again, this narrow passage could not sustain the large amount of waves coming out of Africa, so the humans moved north. From Arabia to modern day Iran, humans migrated sticking to the coastline. From Iran, they entered the Indian subcontinent and found a region of 7 rivers and lush green lands and forests, the Sapta Sindhu region. It was 65,000 BCE. The first migrants came with the coastal migration, also known as the southern dispersal. Scientists widely believe that the Homo sapiens stayed in India for a while. When the Homo sapiens entered India, they found an extremely large stretch of land which had abundant natural resources. It could also sustain the large groups of migrating tribes for a long time. What happened around this period was that man learned to pass on information through language. What used to happen until now is that information was passed on through genetics. Instead of that, humans started showing their children how to do things. When these children grew up, they already knew something that would be inherited almost 20 generations later. So these kids thought more and developed a better way of doing the same thing, something which life was unable to do till then. Now we have reached our first checkpoint. After spreading in the entire Indian subcontinent, mostly the coastal region, Homo sapien tribes went to Southeast Asia and from there to Australia. It was the Ice Age, so the seas of Indonesia were land. A branch of their migrants split and went to modern day China. The Homo sapien tribes of Central Asia started entering Europe 60,000 years ago. And remember who lived in Europe? The Neanderthals. They met the Homo sapiens. The Neanderthals were shorter, but their upper torso was larger. They lived in small groups as hunter gatherers. The Homo sapiens kept migrating into Europe, and the Neanderthal population significantly started reducing. Why? Did the Homo sapiens kill off the species? But Neanderthal DNA can be still found in Europe. which tells that Homo sapiens and Neanderthals interbred. Then what caused their extinction? Scientists believe that it was because they lost in the competition of survival and the game of numbers. The last Neanderthals lived in Spain. Remember I told you about the branch which went into China. Migrant tribes from there advanced northwards into Mongolia. Meanwhile, another group from Central Asia started traveling towards Siberia. Now, what happened to the South Asians was that it was very cold and snowy where they lived. So, to reduce the risk of snow blindness, their eyes became smaller. One of their branch went to Central Asia and probably met an Indian tribe. The main Chinese migrant branch and the Central Asian branch reached Siberia. By this time, the Neanderthals and Denisovans had gone extinct as they couldn't compete. Man encountered large animals, ferocious beasts, and harsh climates. The Siberian migrants now wanted a place which has a comfortable climate, so they headed east and reached the Bering Strait, which was a landmass during the Ice Age. Meanwhile, many migrants from the Middle East had went back into Africa. We have reached 12,000 BCE. The Siberian migrants moved into Alaska. Maybe they followed migrant herds of bulls. Humans entered North America, traveled deeper into South America. Their eyes were smaller, but as they lived in Central America's hot climate, the skin color became brown, and then they became whom we know as Native Americans. By 11,000 BCE, the Homo sapiens had outlived all the other hominin species. They thrived across the globe hunting and gathering. They had tamed animals like dogs and cattle as they could provide them with food. From a cave painting in Madhya Pradesh, we understand that pastoral tribes rode horses and fought battles. But they were hunter gatherers. They spoke languages and composed songs about what they saw around them. Some tribes had elected representatives and some had kings. The person who was the strongest had many cows as cattle was their main resource. Homo sapiens were just an omnivorous hunter gathering primate species. A species who had organized their social life a bit and had harnessed fire to cook food and keep themselves warm. They made use of fire to hunt until tribes of Sindhu Saraswati region discovered farming.